And then, in his periphery, he noticed that the gorse he used to pick petals from for his gorse flower tea to help remedy his asthma had suddenly disappeared.
I used to soak those Ulix europaeus gorse seeds and use them as flea repellent. His mind hurtled on, and he wondered whether or not the eco-warrior within the straw house realized that spending hours and hours of back-breaking work chopping down, uprooting, or poisoning gorse was a 2 steps forward, 4 steps back work ethic based on complete and utter stupidity. Gorse is designed to colonize bare, open ground and give way through natural succession to the appropriate species of native forest. The gorse acts as a safe haven for the birds, who in turn drop and disperse seeds. Now, when these seeds grow, they too are sheltered within the nurturing, nourishing nursery of dappled light provided by the gorse. The gorse then paves the way for its own demise by injecting nitrogen into the soil that the young natives thrive on to grow up, and out, suppressing the gorse by blocking out its available light. The gorse is in fact a contemporary tool used by Mother Earth as one step towards returning the land and forest back to a healthier condition. You can find up to 60 types of fern and 300 species of native plants in and amongst the gorse after 15 years of just doing nothing. Why does everyone always waste so much time trying to get rid of gorse, and in doing so assume that they know more than Mother Earth? She is 4.5 billion years old now. I think she can dress herself. Wolfie's keen sense of smell surmised that pigs were the source of all these recent developments. Oh, Wolfie wailed the thin end of the wedge, because it starts with 3 little, cute, seemingly polite Captain Cook Kunikunis, riddled with bovine tuberculosis, and then they all come. Oh, I don't want the headaches of a hog farm here, Wolfie wailed, as his UIDD kicked into a whole nother level. The pig shit from hog farms emits the deadliest toxic manure gas, hydrogen sulfide and ammonia, both of which cause serious respiratory problems. 1 or 2 breaths with as little as 600 parts hydrogen sulfide per million oxygen can knock you out. Continued exposure at that level will kill you. 1 hog farm with 7,000 pigs can generate the equivalent waste in urine and feces to 3.5 million people, and some hog farms of that size are leaking at twice their legal rate. Like in South Dakota. Wolfie heard himself saying, not that he knew where North, East or West Dakota was, but the UIDD had channeled something South Dakota anyway. South Dakota, the indigenous wolves there, they opposed the building of a hog farm of that size at the Yankton Sioux Ihangtanwan Nation. But despite the decision of the Ihangtanwan's own legal judiciary to deny external police access onto their reservation, 84 armed state pigs, snipers and highway patrol trespassed onto Ihangtanwan land and arrested the Ihangtanwan for peacefully challenging the building of a hog farm that had no legal right-of-way or access because it was completely surrounded by Ihangtanwan land. Their schools, their gardens, their homes, their graveyards, their culturally significant sites, their children. When the councils of this world agree to farm pigs in the middle of indigenous wolves' land, where do they think that poisonous runoff will run to? when the state departments, governments and councils of this world agree to the desecration of indigenous wolf structures, be they physical, spiritual or social, what is it that those councils are trying to achieve? Is it a bit like trying to play rugby football with only 20 people? Why? You'd be forced to play genocide, tenocide. Or perhaps it's like one of those hard wrappings you bandage around a broken limb. Once you take it off, you're left with a holocaust. I digress. The symptoms of a severe asthma attack, induced through his UIDD, the ominous presence of the pigs and vigorous running in the cold night air constricted Wolf's lungs, and he stood hunched outside the straw house, struggling to control his breath, implementing a wee mantra he used to calm himself down. Little breath, big breath, little breath, big breath, little big, little big. And he suddenly remembered the objective of his nocturnal escapade. Let him in, let him in. Then he realized he'd forgotten his asthma pump back at the cave, so he yelled out randomly, hoping someone might have an oral huffer, puffer, blower. Then he knocked on the door of the straw house, hoping for some assistance from within. Who's in? Stop. Rewind. Stop again. And let's just carefully review exactly what it was that Wolfie just said. Because it is contrary to popular belief, which doesn't mean that it is wrong. So, in struggling to control its breath, the wolf actually spluttered, little big, let him in, oral huffer, and a buffer, and a blower, who's in? But you see what happens when little pigs gain a little bit of extra weight. Fact is that extra weight compresses the eardrums, and the little piggies have trouble hearing. So, the little piggies misheard, misinterpreted, thought the wolf said, little pig, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. House in? Who's in? Hausen, Husenhausen. Alles klar, capiche?
Claro.
Capai. And as we all know, the little pig replied, squealed in reply, oh no, not by the air on my chinny chin chin. Which only further served to confuse the big UIDD asthmatic, itchy, suffering wolf, given that in Japanese, chin chin means, and in Italian, chin chin is a toast. Well, the poor old wolf was left wondering what exactly it was the little pig was doing in there. Toasting his dick. Unfortunately, for the first little pig, the severity of Wolf's asthma attack completely and utterly destroyed his straw house. And the little pig was blown up and away over the stick house, smack bang, knocked unconscious into the chimney of the brick house. Oblivious to the fact that for generations to come, he, the wolf, would be blamed for consuming the first little pig, he staggered towards the second little house of sticks and the pig therein, wheezing asthmatically. Little pig, little pig. Bada bing, bada boom. Same interaction, same conversation, identical result. So now we have two houses, straw and sticks, both completely destroyed by the severity of the asthma attack, and unbelievably, 2 unconscious little piggies wedged firmly into the chimney of the 3rd brick house. Oh, in desperate need of some assistance now, the wolf lurched towards the 3rd little piggy in the house of bricks, and he huffed, and he puffed. But the 3rd little paranoid piggy, blinded by ill-founded fear of the big dark Maori at the door, offered no assistance. So, the wolf, although he was really in serious oxygen debt by this stage, and really needed to head home to his pedal-powered nebulizer, knew that he was the only one that knew of the 2 comatose little piggies stuck singeing up in the chimney. So, disregarding his own health and safety, he clambered onto the roof, hoping to rescue them. Unfortunately, in his attempts to pull them to safety, he only managed to dislodge them. Unfortunately, the 2 little piggies fell down the chimney. Unfortunately, there was only a large cauldron filled with boiling water on a blazing fire to catch their fall. Unfortunately, the 3rd little piggy thought the wolf had fallen down the chimney. Unfortunately, the 3rd little piggy consumed his younger siblings. Unfortunately, the big, persecuted wolf has always been blamed. It wasn't the wolf ate the piggies, no, it wasn't the wolf at all. So think about this story when you design something sustainable. It wasn't the wolf forced Lopa to hear or hounded us from our homes. Sustainable design built where wolf used to live needs good ethics and integrity, bro. Misinterpretation of communication can upset the apple cart of a nation. Take a wolfy word like rangatiratanga, and you'll see I'm not talking planga with a hey, hey, oh, and a hey, nonny, no. When it shook the barley, with a hey, hey, oh, and a hey, nonny, no. When it shook the barley, oh.
Mua ăn